The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. As always, you know where you're supposed to be at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what are we doing today? A most excellent edition, yes. Well, we've had our bounce. Now the question is, what's going to happen? Got a lot of people short yesterday. We got a turn. Pretty much looking at them trying, at least. You never know, because the markets is not as stable as it normally is. But I did send up an update earlier to go ahead and sell. I had a recommendation or suggestion to buy AMD for the squeeze today. Brent says, hi, David. Thank you for the AMD trade. Bought the 90 calls today at 90 cents. Sold out for a healthy profit. Love those Friday weekly options trades. Have yourself a great day and a weekend. Thanks, Brent. I said, let's go ahead and get out of them, maybe even a little early. I always love to sell when I can, not when I have to. What do we have? Well, we've had the squeeze. But can we bet on anything on a Friday? One of the other things that I think not too many people talked about earlier in the day, it is Friday 13th. Traders tend to be a little bit superstitious. Not that I've ever met one, but I hear some traders can be superstitious. Well, we know from Stevie Wonder, superstition ain't the way. But there's a reason for it. Of course, Friday the 13th is been around for what, the 1400s? When the King of France decided to kill all of the banking arm. What do I call them that? Yeah, the banking arm of the Catholic Church and take all their money because he was broke. Of course, he'd be dead within a year. As one of the persons that on this day that he put on a pit and roasted, who said that you would be dead within the year, and he was actually correct. But people, it's always about money, isn't it? Anyway, the Knights Templar, of course, they were the first ATMs in Europe. Most people don't, they kind of miss. They see the kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff and think a lot more about it. But they were really the bankers, the first bankers. And, they had a deal where you could actually take instead of taking cash with you, take a paper and get cash once you got there so you wouldn't get robbed and then end up penniless in some other foreign country. So they'd give you this thing, and they'd give you a copy of it, and they'd send another copy. So it was kind of expensive, but they'd send somebody else with a separate copy, and those copies had to match. And that kind of stood for what cybersecurity in those days stood for. But there was a lot of cash, or at least the King of France thought there was. But it had all kind of disappeared by the time they got there. No one's really sure what happened to it. A lot of people think that it was just kind of a skimming operation for the church at the time, and all that money had already gone back to the Vatican. But no one's really probably ever going to really know. But that's where Friday the 13th got its legend started. But that's kind of it. Now, on other things going on, some discussions in the Tiger's Den today that I thought were fairly interesting. I don't really believe that I can believe anything that I read or see on TV now. Almost everything at least has to be almost vetted, like you're reading the Pravda from 1980 and know where that particular item came from before you can even talk about it. Oh, by the way, there is a good new system that you can get on my phone. I've been using it for a couple weeks. Maybe I'll talk about it in the next segment, but it does kind of compare the versions of reality of maybe one cable news station against another. And when no one talks about one thing on one station and the other bunch of folks can only talk about it, it's kind of interesting of how many things out there that you wouldn't know about if you only watched one cable news station, which I think is kind of interesting, but it's documenting it a little bit more. Anyway, as I do digress, well, we're what? Is that right? Let me update this just to make sure. Options do kind of suggest that they're going to try to push this thing around 4,000 and blow up a bunch of puts that were bought over the last few days. Of course, options expiration is a week from today, so we'll see about that. We'll look at some other stuff here, too. We got a question about the TLT already. Again, probably a few people rolling out of bonds to chase a big day in the market, or at least one of the few positive days in the market that we see. You're just kind of hovering around resistance here on a bounce. Probably going to get some consolidation. As I said, maybe you could get back up to 121-ish on this, and we may see that across the next week. Have I really changed my opinion is another email about it. You really need to have a solid close on decent volume above 4,000 on the S&P cash. The risk reward is still basically 3-to-1. If we think you can go up 100 points, then you should also know that you could probably go down 300 points on the S&P cash. There's a few things. Somebody put something in about inflation. I think you can probably pretty much bet on inflation. A question I really have is, are all the politicians willing to go down with the ship that are based on a policy that's only going to make gasoline and diesel higher through the entire summer all the way up into the election? And you know what? Their first job after you win the first election is to win the second one. And I have a feeling that it's going to be very tough to see a lot of folks want to go down with the ship of higher prices. And just a handful of things could probably get rid of half the inflation we have in the next 3 months. That would just be a policy of drill, baby, drill. I know that would be, almost impossible. But here's the thing. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, up 59 on the S&P cash, up 209 on the Dow, NASDAQ up 311, Russell up 42. And we'll do a little history and then we'll move on.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1985, British rock band Dire Straits releases their 5th album, Brothers in Arms, which will become the first CD to sell over 1 million copies. It was the most successful album release on compact disc for over 2 decades. I guess Money for Nothing was more than a title song. And of course, one of the first full-length animated videos for MTV. But I do digress. We're back to the market, already in progress over most of TFNN. Where'd my thing go? Here it goes. Okay, so what do we have here? I want my MTV. You know what? I have to say that that album, I know everybody focuses on that one and that, but I don't know the name of the song right now. I can't remember off of it, but I think it's called Your Latest Trick. That may be one of the best all-time songs and recordings I've ever heard, along with Brothers in Arms. But yeah, Brothers in Arms, of course, about the Falkland Wars. But yeah, you have to wonder. That's one of the first wars that you have to actually be very careful the way you say it. Okay, questions coming in are already hot and heavy. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. Okay, question now that CCJ is plummeted back underneath. What do I think about it? Well, so far it's not been able to hold above the 3x3. You may need another week or so. I've been thinking for a while that we were probably going to see some kind of low into this the 20th in options expiration. That still, the door's still open on that. But if you were looking for some kind of significant low, it's very tough until you get into the 3-day weekends to actually find one historically. A lot of times people think about what happens. Now, maybe we don't get one, but there is a pretty high correlation to the character of the market changing, if not the direction, in 3-day weekends. And with Memorial Day coming up, I think that's the one real big chance that we have to either go higher or at least change the character. And by character, I mean, if you're going up and you're having huge swings up and down and everything else, the only thing I ever paid attention to in wave theory from oh God, what's the name of the guy? Prechter, was his rule of alternation, because it does happen a lot. And that is, if you have huge moves on the downside and big swings and choppy, you can look at a lot of those that movement change. If it's sloppy and up and down and huge reversals intraday, once you come out of it, the next leg after a 3-day weekend tends to be more orderly, let me put it that way, and less violently. So instead of having one day down and one day up 100 points on the S&P cash, you may have 5 straight days down at 25 points lower, something like that. And then you'll have another leg, or maybe even 7 to 10 or 15 days of just selling, or just slightly higher. But they tend to be, you tend to go out of high volatility, and especially in the 3-day weekends in the summer, but 3-day weekends of any year tend to come back with a change of character and or a actual change in trend. So before then, it's very tough. I've already said that we get to the 20th of the month, and that's options expiration. Probably going to see a lot of folks on Wall Street decide to hit the Hamptons early this year, as there's probably not a lot of reasons to be out there. So look for lighter volume into that last week of the year, and then, of course, the 3-day weekend. And then come back. But generally, you get within a day or two of starting June, you're going to find that we have a couple things coming on, and that is going to be lighter volume. And after this downtrend, it wouldn't be surprising to actually see either up or down moves on lighter volume through the summer. We've had the heaviest of volume selling. We've also seen some other stuff, and that other stuff is both short covering, as we've seen today, and forced selling in margin calls. And those both will always override any technicals in the market. But, yeah, the walk of life, those are great. But I tell you what, I'm trying to remember the exact line in that song. Prehistoric garbage trucks, and the cabs are only taking calls for cash. I don't know how it happened. Oh, boy, what a great song. I wish I could play them. Of course, YouTube won't let us. Even if I only played 5 seconds of it, they'd go all Zig Heil on me. So, I do like that album, though. Okay, other things as we take a look. As far as options go, look for them, if they can, to try to push and close this thing right around 4,000. That would be the best outcome for option market makers. Any close above 4,000 actually kind of helps out the oversold condition that we have now. Doesn't mean that we won't have additional bear legs down in this market. As I said, I think you could probably put 50 to 70% of all inflation under the tent of higher fuel prices. So if we don't change that, I don't think anything's going to change. So, at some point, you got to think some adult finally will enter the room at the highest levels of power. I always love that line at the very end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So who's looking at it? We have our top people on it. Top people. Who's that? Our top people. Well, hopefully somebody enters the room and says, you know what, we're going to think that the overthrows of other countries have been minor in comparison to what can happen to an electorate looking at $5 and $6 gasoline. We hit 470 here today in Florida, and it's been probably $1 cheaper than everywhere else in the country, but it's starting to catch up over the last week here. I don't know what it is the rest of the places, but that's enough to destroy any economy. And not only destroy it, take a stake and drive it through the heart of any economy. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're hovering around 39.88 on the S&P 500. Not surprised we dipped back below going into a weekend. Awful hard to stand there with a loaded gun pointed at your heart if you're a trader going into a weekend, bounce or not. And a lot of discussion in the den about Mark Knopfler from, of course, the above named album. But hey, one of my favorite is Chris Body and Mark Knopfler, and he's for What a Wonderful World. If you haven't heard that, absolutely killer. Oh, I see what he's saying. They were talking about the Stuck in the Middle, which is from Steeler's Wheel. How do I know this stuff? between 39.70 and 4,000. So yeah. Okay. Quick question about taking a look and see what we have in volume out here today. About 8.9 billion shares. So yesterday had enough volume that I'm going to say that at least 80% of the time you're going to get it retested. It wasn't quite the 18 billion shares that we had before. It was like 16.5 billion. But that does make me think that we're probably going to get a retest of at least 3,900, if not lower, before we could say that we've found some kind of tradable, midterm tradable up leg in what I still suspect is a bear market. So, no, I am not changing a lot of what I'm saying. And, two, like I said, just the thought of being long is frightening. So probably not a bad idea to occasionally be long. As we said earlier in the day, I was looking for the most hated stock in the market and suggested that as a squeeze play today. And what I put AMAT in there, it should be AMD. And it looked good. I got in, I don't know, mid 87s and got out around 93.5, I think, something like that. So there was some money to be made out here. I just don't want to be hanging around. As I say at the end of every show, this is certainly a market where you sell when you can, not when you have to. Volume a little light. One of the reasons why I suspect that now, if you pull back down, retest on lighter volume, and then hit the next move up, yeah, could you get something, especially on something as heavily shorted as AMD or NVIDIA? Both of them up more than 10% earlier in the day. And these two tend to be the ones that everybody's always saying are going lower. They've been finally right now for a little while. NVIDIA ran right into the downtrend line of the 3x3, but it is kind of holding fairly close there. Again, you want these things generally on these heavy legs down to go back above the 3 or a 9-day moving average, play around for a couple of days, come back, retest the low on lighter volume. In this case, NVIDIA's low had 71 million shares. You'd like for the thing to come in there, test it with 41 million shares, and then pop back above the line, and there you probably have some open field running. Now, my thoughts are still under pressure all the way through the 20th. Light volume into the end of the month. Could you have some short squeezes on just a massively oversold and overshorted market in the short term? The answer is yes. So today may be kind of a prelude to what we have in the last week of the month. But again, we could just continue to see the S&P down 20, 25 points every day come in June, or up a little each day. So be prepared to get ready for summertime trading. Trumpeteer in the den. Who's that, Basil? Would that be you? Okay. Okay. Just going back here, checking stuff out. Okay, we had a question to look, I think. I hate when I close that stuff because I don't remember where it went. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, Tara, look at SQ, which is square. I want to short it, so how high can it bounce? Well, you had a higher volume low, so the first thing to do is get a test of it, and then it has to go back higher, and then that's it. But ideally, to get enough meat on the bone, I'd want this thing to go to 108. There's a gap right there where it first started coming down, and of course the most dangerous words in trading are "it's different this time." But yeah, could you see a bounce in this to 108? I don't think that there's any problem with that. Then you might have enough meat on the bone to reshort this thing. I don't see any reason to be going short here now. you want to short stocks, close to the highs, not close to the lows. But yeah, that would set up a pretty nice ABC on the way down. But you do have three kind of, I'm going to call them medium-sized gaps. So you could have a little bit of a three-gap play. But yeah, 108, 109-ish on square would set up a pretty nice ABC on the way down. Okay. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, even in bear markets, one of the things you should always be thinking about is just how high a stock can bounce. And on this one, 107.05 is a 50% bounce. Is that right? Yeah, 107. So I'm not going to be too surprised to see it back up there, but that's how high I'd want it before I even consider it. And then you want light volume up there. Okay. AAPL. Okay. Where's Apple? Confluence is a very good sign at 155 on Apple. I don't think it's immediately going back up there, but I would, if I wanted to short the thing again, very good sign that's where resistance is and where you would think that that would go. So I'm not a big fan of trying to chase this thing down. Remember, they've got a lot of cash that they could put to work at any time. And when it gets loaded up with shorts, they won't have to buy much to drive it back up there, 155.91. I think I saw that on my list yesterday of how heavily shorted it was. Let's take a quick look on the Apple. Well, not as bad as I thought. 12% yesterday, day before 15%. Still pretty big on the bi-monthly, just 1 day to cover. But yeah, could you see something happen? Again, a lot of people, as I said, all the time going into this horrible bear market was that the market's always going up 3/4 of the time. It may not go up as much, but you got to be prepared for some long waits if you want to short and have a good risk reward. On Apple, I don't know how it gets there. It takes 6 weeks, but I'd 155.91, 155.67. Right. We'll be back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
As we return, we'll take a quick look at the shiny yellow metal. Continues to be lower. So let's take a look at that. Okay. Well, you're getting close. 168.01 for the low today. You got light volume, 166.37. So you got $1.70. Right? $1.70, $1.63, $1.64 to go to test the January 28th low. That was 16 million shares. Just 8 million shares today. So you're certainly living on the right side. Any trade off this low got pretty good confluence from 169 to 167. So that's where you would expect if you were going to get a good rip off the lows out here. I do like the setup out here. I just don't see any signal quite yet that says gold's ready to move, but you have a really nice setup. I do like that you had, I mean, this is actually kind of a big Wyckoff pattern when you look at it, and that is 7.6 on my power law vector number on the way up. That's just measuring the energy on the way up between the high and the low. So you had a 47 million share high at 193 on March 8th. So you got a high volume low that's untested. It is a kind of an island top out there. Doesn't mean it won't get retested. Does mean, though, it probably was a good thing to sell then. You come back on 5.8. You bounce on a little bit. You come back on 5.1. So the A to B and C to D did see energy drop. You now have are close to being in that low candle of January 28th. You're just not there yet. And in a bear market, you better wait for the test of the lows. You better not start going out there and thinking, okay, even with light volume, it's something that I can chase. Most of the time, tie goes to the runner, not in a bear market. Tie goes to the team on the field, which is the Bears. The Bears. Okay, other things going on out here. Anything going on in Tesla? I don't think so. It may be in the news a lot, but I don't see a lot happening out here. You tested the previous low on about the same volume you had before, so you don't have a great signal there. Energy was a little lighter off the April 5th high down to the low yesterday, but it didn't increase. It's within the margin of error. $700 at 45 million shares. You went below it by $20, closed back above it, and now have a part. But I think everything is tainted, at least for a while, and problematic. Question about looking at Workday. See if we have anything in there for Robert. And we have a couple more. Again, we talked about the patterns up at the highs before this thing all fell apart with the double repo patterns. I like the same thing at the lows, and that is you've had the big move low. You're going to get a couple closes above it, a couple closes below it. If you can get a close back above it after the closes above, below, and then back above, and you get any kind of sign of strength, volume, big push, that's it. Because you could have some nice moves to the upside on workday 223 to 221. So there's a lot of stocks out here with very good confluence. I don't think this one has a lot of issues out there other than if inflation continues to go higher and we see a huge turnaround in employment, maybe this turns this thing. There is no sign yet other than you've had a little bit of reversal on half the volume today. So no big deal out here yet. But a lot of these stocks could see, we've had such huge moves down that even just a 50% or even a 0.382 bounce in a horrible market could be incredibly good money. So keep an eye on that. Other things out here. Where is Metamucil going? I have to laugh on this. It's you gapped higher. You're kind of coming back and filling in this gap. You got a bounce today on a light volume, if nothing. I mean, as I said before, if you don't get in a bear market, if you don't get lighter volume of tests of a low, I can't even in a bounce start talking about it. If the stock's 100% short, maybe, but that's about it. And, you have some fairly light volume, but, you got to get into about 175, 170 to see this thing tested with a lighter volume. On the high side, I think even if the market turns south, this one is a hard one to get any kind of decent risk reward. I think 205 or 210 may be what you need to set up a retest if it doesn't retest the 169 right now. But I'm going to say 95% of stocks with high volume lows right now in a bear market are going to get tested. So you've got very tough odds to beat on this. Now, does that mean they get tested next week? No, but they will get retested, and it could be next week. Did you see large volumes this week? Next week put option open prior to this rally. Also, how does the volume look on this rally? As I said earlier, you had a lot of volume. It didn't quite get to the 18 billion shares. So could we get a little bit of a respite, a bounce into the 3-day weekend, Memorial weekend, and come back with a bear at the vengeance? We could. You don't have to make that decision today. We'll play it one day as a time into options expiration. But just assume if next week is down, that the week after that is going to be heavy. Everybody's going to be short into decreasing volume. And maybe we get some kind of leg up in June. The opposite end is that we go up a great deal now and then start the bear leg when we come back from Memorial Day. At least that's kind of the long-term thinking. Got in Roblox yesterday, 24. Where do you see this running? 35 or 40? Not really. I've never really liked the business of bad games, which is what Roblox is based on. They are based on games for the lowest common denominator, and that has never been one that has been a long time winning strategy. If volume is the way that you choose to spend your time in playing games, that's one thing. You're up on no volume today in comparison to the last 2 days. Maybe you get a retest to 2165. But again, if you're not playing these things intraday and getting in and out, you got to wait. Tests of the low of the last couple. We'll be back in a
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With market volatility roaring back in April, Larry Pesavento has just announced a 5-hour live trading webinar coming up on May 17th. Larry Pesavento is a 56-year trading veteran and has mastered his trading skills through many different market fluctuations. Join Larry on May 17th as he hosts a live 5-hour trading webinar from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, giving you insight into how he analyzes the market and decides his plays. Larry will delve deep into the ABCD trading pattern, explaining how to structure your trading day, the times most likely to generate signals, which signals to ignore, and how to use the pattern to mitigate risk. In this all-day 5-hour live trading webinar, take a seat by Larry's side as he trades the markets real time, including the Dow and S&P 500E mini, crude oil, natural gas, gold, treasury bonds, wheat and soybeans, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, and more. If you've ever wanted to get inside the mind of a market master, you cannot miss this live trading webinar. To sign up today, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
We're talking in the den about games, and I have to actually wonder about some of these games that are out there. Goat Simulator, one of my more interesting thoughts out here, actually made a bunch of money. There's some other ones out there that are just, you would think they're weird, but no, they make big money. This one's a $10 game, but you just run around butting, just running into things. And people find it's hilarious and fun. Oh, it's got a trailer here. Let's see what else is on here. See if we can see. Let's see. Any volume? I don't think the volume's on this. Anyway, you just run around with interesting games. Play some tornado game. Understand this. I haven't looked at this before. Anyway, my whole thesis on this was must be they're playing it in reverse. You just run around butting into people and things, but it's pretty funny. So we'll come back here later. So anyway, not a big fan of the low end of games because they tend to be bought out for pennies on the dollar if they're lucky, and most times go bankrupt. Since I've been involved in computer gaming with Electronic Arts, one of my short-term jobs in 1986 was I think a year and a half. Was certainly the long term on those. It just never has been good. Anyway, we're out here at 4,000. I suspect they're going to try to park it here to kill off as many puts and calls as they can. Not expecting a whole lot more. See what happens on Monday. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you Monday.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to